Just gonna wait a minute to see if more people come in. See what we got going on. What's up, y'all? Happy Thursday morning. I mean, it's early. I know I'm not gonna get a lot of people right now, but I wanted to do this before I go to work. It's raining over here today, but yeah, I want to talk about this whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing. You know, the trial is it's been pretty much going underway for the last 2 weeks now, I believe. And just to remind some of y'all, if y'all haven't been, you know, if y'all don't remember who Kyle Rittenhouse is, if y'all haven't been keeping up with the trial, Kyle Rittenhouse is a 17. Oh, he's 18 now, but he was a 17-year-old that traveled across state lines, you know, which is not illegal. He didn't do it with a gun, but he traveled from Illinois, Antioch, Illinois, which is about 15 miles, to Kenosha, Wisconsin, about a 30-minute drive maybe. So, you know, this cat traveled across state lines because there were riots going on in Kenosha after Jacob Blake got shot several times by police officers in Kenosha, right? So if y'all remember this, Jacob Blake, everybody made a big deal about this damn criminal who's had a long history of assault, sexual assault, pulling out weapons. His own baby moms had what do you call that? Order of restricted order, whatever. Basically, he couldn't come around her and the kids and all of that. So what happened? You know, we'll start with Jacob Blake because that's where it began. So what happened with Jacob Blake? And y'all gotta look up the videos because the liberal news media doesn't like to show the full story. They've been kind of like egging on this whole beef between the left and the right, you know, politics, right? Democrats and Republicans. It was really because they were trying to get, I mean, what it looked like was they were trying to get Trump out of the White House and have him on the forefront because they know that he was going to be supporting the police. And if you have people supporting, you know, the ones that got shot, it's going to be a contrast there, and it's going to be obvious that, you know, he's not supporting Jacob Blake. But, you know, Biden came out immediately and was supporting Jacob Blake. Who is Jacob Blake? Jacob Blake, I forgot how old he was, but he's African-American male who pretty much, you know, was violent with his baby moms. He was a violent dude, bro. Like, I don't know why people out here want to raise the fist for Jacob Blake, the black fist of socialism, for Jacob Blake, which is what BLM fist is. If y'all don't know, that BLM fist goes back to socialism from, you know, Karl Marx and all that shit. You know, it's highly tied together. This whole social movement that's going on. But not to get off track, you know, I mean, but these are the people that's making the noise, you know, for criminals. They're out here burning and looting businesses for Jacob Blake. This is what was going on in Kenosha. So in Kenosha, Jacob Blake, he went to this female's house, baby moms. He took the kids against, you know, their will. He wasn't supposed to do that. You know, he was basically violating the restraining order. That's what I was trying to say earlier. So he violated the restraining order, number one. He wasn't supposed to be there. The woman that called the cops, the person that called the cops, let the police know this cat is here, blah, blah, blah. Now, for you guys that don't know, the cops, now, before they get to the scene, they're going to have all this information ready on this Jacob Blake cat. They knew that he was violent. They knew, you know, his past. He pulled out guns in the past. So they already knew what they were getting themselves into. And when the cops got there, you can see videos. This is not the most popular video, but the one that was circulating of Jacob Blake was the one that was shot from a house across the street on the second floor, where you can see just a few seconds of Jacob Blake just walking up to the car. It was more than a few seconds, but the way the media was cutting it up was just showing you Jacob Blake walking to the car, and all you see was, you know, cops shooting him. No context at all. So, you know, if you don't do your research, and of course these media people know that, then people are just gonna run with what they see. And that's exactly what was going on. People were posting stuff on Facebook about Jacob Blake, and I was like, yo, why are you supporting this cat? Haven't you seen the full video? Now the other video is the video of Jacob Blake fighting the cops. Jacob Blake was fighting cops, and you can see this video was from the same side of the street. And hey, No Saint was good, bro. Yeah, I'm glad I could do this early. This is very rare. But you know, just to get this off of my head, because I've been wanting to cover this, you know, for a long time now. But just to give you the, you know, a rundown on Jacob Blake. So Jacob Blake was fighting two police officers. He had already put his kids in the back of the car. He's putting his children in danger. He's putting his children in danger, not the cops. As he's fighting the cops, he was saying that he's going to go to his car to get a gun or to get a knife. I forget which one it was. I believe he already had a knife on him because he wasn't unarmed. People were saying they shot another unarmed black man. He was not unarmed. He had a knife that's armed. So, you know, you see the full video and the full context. You can see, oh, he was fighting the cops. Now, that's resisting arrest violently. Like, who does this, right? You expect not to get shot and you fighting cops? You're already putting yourself in a bad situation. And now you're going to walk to the car with cops behind you pointing guns at you. You don't have no regard for authority. People with guns, you won't listen to people with guns. The Democrats want to push, we need more social workers in these communities. So you need more people without guns to deal with people like Jacob Blake. But this cat's just walking away, going to his car. Not a good idea. Now he's reaching into the car and he gets shot several times. Now that's maybe the only argument that you can make against the police, is that they shot him maybe too many times. You know, but if you don't resist, yeah, you should wait. And I mean, he shouldn't even have been there in the first place, right? Don't resist. Don't violate your restraining order. Don't get a restraining order, man. Like, he got himself in so many situations, and now it's you know, I mean, I won't say it's too late. He's still alive, but you're gonna cry. Now he wants to turn his life around. You see that they're not talking about Jacob Blake anymore. Nothing's gonna happen with Jacob Blake. There's the cops. The cops are fine, man. And I knew it wasn't gonna happen. And people, of course, crying, oh, you see, they can't because he was black. Like, no, man. This would happen to a white person, and it does happen to white people. White people that are armed with knives get shot. White people that are unarmed get shot. Have you never heard of Daniel Shaver? A white guy that was unarmed that got killed by a cop. Damn, what was the other cat? There's a few other people. See, I can't never remember the names of the white people, because you only remember the names when it's a black person, because it gets blown out of proportion. BLM goes nuts. All the black nationalists, black Hebrew Israelites, you know, the Not Fucking Around Coalition, all these black nationalist groups come out and protest when it's a black person, whether he's armed or unarmed, or whether he's trying to kill somebody or not. Because they did the same thing with Micaiah Bryant, who was trying to stab somebody. People went out there and protested. What was the other cat? Lakeith Smith in Milwaukee. I did a video on that already. People were protesting. He pulled out a gun on the cops, shot a cop, or tried to shoot a cop. The cops shot him, killed him. They protested. The dude shot at cops, man, first. Like, people are so backwards. And it reminds me of a scripture. See, I'm not I don't believe in the Bible or whatever. But there's a scripture that says, woe to them that call evil good and good evil. And this is what I see happening with, like, black America. You got people out here, you calling Jacob Blake good, Makisha Bryant, Micaiah Bryant was good. And then the cops, well, those people were evil as hell, trying to kill people and all crazy stuff. But then the cops who were saving lives and putting themselves in harm's way, they're evil. They got y'all backwards, man. And this is the Democrats, mainly liberals, progressives, but I mean, all Democrats I'm seeing. There's some moderate Democrats that are not falling for the bullshit. But damn, the majority of the networks out here, MSNBC, CNN, the Young Turks, I mean, there's so many networks, and then forget it. The ones that I follow, like, you know, these Sonetter, you know, they're black nationalists, man. That's what they're gonna push, that same rhetoric. And then even my friends, we're all talking the same garbage. Oh, Abu, what's good, man? Good to see you. I've never seen you on my lives. Good to see you. But yeah, so this story is just very interesting, like the polarity, you know, between Jacob Blake and Kyle Rittenhouse. So Jacob Blake gets shot, right? 7 times, boom. The cops were not charged, as they should not have. They were never charged. David Sullivan, another white guy killed by police. They don't mention the white guys killed by police, but you can look up, yeah, I forgot the website, gun violence dot something. There's websites that try to keep up with this. There's so much gun violence in this country that it's amazing. It's like ridiculous. You know, there's a gun issue in this country, period. This doesn't happen in other countries. There's about 3 times more guns than there are people in the United States, just so y'all know that. But you know, in this country, there's like 60% white, you know, Caucasian, whatever, in America, and about 13% black. Now, black people or African Americans do get shot by, or how can I say, maybe per ratio, you can say, but you can look up the article. White people get shot by cops more than black people, if you want to look at the numbers. I don't remember the last year that they tallied it up, but I think in 2019 it was like 19 unarmed white people were shot, and it was like 9 unarmed black people. So, but if you look at the population disparity, yeah, you can say that per ratio it happens more to black people. But if you factor in the resisting arrest, the violence, and all the crime that happens in the African American community, which, let's not lie to ourselves, we know what happens, then it's, you know, the disparity is covered there. Yeah, thank you, Abu. It's gunviolence .org, I believe you said. I missed that, but yeah, pretty much. You know, so that happened, whatever. People forgot about Jacob Blake because his mother wasn't even trying to go with that narrative. They had Ben Crump up there, you know, trying to make you know, attorney Ben Crump. He's a damn ambulance chaser for black people. He's called a huckster. You know, anytime something happens with a black person, who you got there? Ben Crump. He's trying to change it up now, you know, when it's a white person, he's trying to like change it up so he don't look too bad. But man, he was just focusing on African American ones. But you know, damn, I forgot there was another white guy, Matt Kemp, I believe the guy's name was. He had a toy gun. Antonio Arce was a Hispanic that had a toy gun that got shot, but he got shot by a Hispanic cop. Nobody knows his name. You know. These names, you know, like I'm trying to remember more. Tony Timpa, he was unarmed. He was killed by cops. He wasn't shot, but he was still an unarmed white guy that was killed by cops. Same way like George Floyd. They actually gave him some drugs, and he was killed. You know, he died that way. That story's crazy. I mean, but you know, he was resisting arrest. He was on drugs. He was already on drugs, acting crazy. You know, but okay, now we spoke about Jacob Blake, right? Well, actually, just a little bit more. His mother, if you look at how his mother was acting when they had the interview with Ben Crump, she was like, I want y'all to wait for all the information to come out. She was like, I don't want y'all to jump to conclusions. So she wasn't trying to have it. Like, you're not going to turn my son into a victim. You know, he was in the wrong. Like, I love Jacob Blake's mom, man. She set all that shit straight. I think it was her that did that. And Jacob Blake, you see him, he's actually walking again. Well, he was able to stand, and which is good, man. I mean, he wants to change his life. He was talking about, you know, but it doesn't, it sounds like maybe just the news networks are not showing the full interview. And he's just saying how he watched the video 100 times and he regrets a lot of things that he did, but he was still trying to get a payday, of course. I mean, come on. You know, I mean, can you really blame him too? Like, I mean, if you get shot by cops, you're gonna be mad, but it's like, take responsibility for the fuck ups that you did. Like, you fucked up, man. You fucked up bad. You know, and you had your kids in the car. You putting your kids in danger. There were people saying, oh, I can't believe they shot in a car that had kids. Like, no, they shot at the guy, man. They didn't shoot at the kids. So it was Jacob Blake's fault for involving the children and putting them in that situation. Like, I noticed that, man. Black Hebrew Israelites and some of y'all, man, that was commenting and trying to show me, there was some like artwork that they were posting at the time where they showed Jacob Blake walking away from cops and cops shooting him, and he had a bunch of bullet holes, right? It was like some artwork. And then they showed Kyle Rittenhouse giving the cops the okay with an assault rifle, and they were like, oh, there's two different ways of policing people in this country, and like making it seem like it all had to do with color. When now we get to Kyle Rittenhouse, right? So Jacob Blake, the response to that was, of course, BLM going nuts, rioting, looting, people going crazy for 3 days. It was going on, people going nuts in Kenosha. Kyle Rittenhouse is a conservative white guy, 17-year-old, who was basically there to clean up the community and protect the community. Let's not lie. That's what he was there to do. There's images of him cleaning up the community earlier that day, cleaning up the graffiti and all the rioting. There were people burning and looting. They don't mention that at all. The way that the narrative that the left-wing media was saying was that this is all peaceful, mostly peaceful protesting. It's like, this is burning, looting, rioting. So Kyle Rittenhouse was there to protect, because he worked in the area. He had friends in the area. He didn't take a gun across state lines. That was the first lie that they were pushing. And look up all the videos on the coverage of the trial. The left-wing media, CNN, yo, they're getting mad thumbs down. Washington Post, because they're not speaking the whole truth. The crime, I guess the one crime that they could get Kyle Rittenhouse on is that he was underage, which is a misdemeanor. It's like a first-degree misdemeanor. I mean, this kid is probably gonna get a fine. You know, but if you follow in the trial, this kid is not gonna get charged with murder. If he gets charged with murder, I will be surprised. He was defending himself from crazy mother effers. The first guy that he killed, before anything happened, and you can see video in a gas station, man. I could not find a full video. I posted it on Facebook when it first happened, but I could not find a full video. There were people at a gas station, and you could see Joseph Rosenbaum, who was the first guy that got killed. He was the guy with the red shirt and the bald hat and the ear gauges, right? He got shot in the head like 3 times or 4 times by Kyle Rittenhouse. He was the one. He was the aggressor. He was telling people, shoot me, N-word, shoot me, N-word. He was a wigger. You know, I don't know if he was, well, that's probably Jewish, right? Rosenbaum. This cat was a child molester also, just so you know. So don't feel sorry for no damn Joseph Rosenbaum, man. This cat was a violent child molester. Kyle Rittenhouse did a damn service when he killed that cat. I have no remorse for that guy. And the other guys either. Because there was another person that was killed, and there was another person that was shot, and he had his bicep all messed up. You could see him. He was the one that actually had a gun. He had a handgun trying to shoot Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse, man, yo, he shot his arm off. That guy had great aim. He had better aim than some cops. And I'm not applauding everything that Kyle Rittenhouse did, because, you know, he was underage. That's illegal. But like, he was a few months underage. Like, how bad really is that? Like, you know, you got people outraged, like, oh, he was underage. Like, shut the hell up, man. Like you don't know what was going on in the hood. You got little kids like Little Yummy in Chicago, 11-year-old with damn 6 bodies. I forgot how many bodies he had on him. You know what happens in the hood with damn gangbangers and shit. You know, and these guns be illegal. Well, I mean, I guess the gun was technically illegal if he was underage. But Kenosha is a right. All right, my bad, I froze y'all. But yeah, he shot somebody that had a Molotov cocktail. He threw a Molotov cocktail at him. They were saying he threw a plastic bag. Now the cat threw a Molotov cocktail, and Kyle Rittenhouse was being chased by multiple people. And if you hear the audio, the first shot that you hear, that Kyle Rittenhouse hears, wasn't shot by Kyle Rittenhouse. So his response was to shoot Joseph Rosenbaum. And Joseph Rosenbaum was asking for it. I'm not upset that he shot Joseph Rosenbaum, but like somebody said in the chat, my son would never have been out there. That the mother that drove him out there, I don't know what she was thinking, but you know, I mean, 17 years old, about to be 18. He's almost legal, but technically it's illegal. So we got to go by with the technicalities, you know. But other than that technicality, that he was underage, he was still doing something that's honorable if he's trying to protect people's businesses. And you know, he didn't just start off shooting. He didn't start shooting until people started lunging at him and attacking him. Look at the video and listen to the sound of the shots that go off before Kyle Rittenhouse shoots. So what happened, Kyle Rittenhouse heard the shot, and then he shot 4 shots at Joseph Rosenbaum. He went around the car to check on Joseph Rosenbaum, because Kyle Rittenhouse also knew how to do CPR and all types of medic stuff. He was there to help. He wasn't there as a vigilante going to kill people the way they're trying to make it seem. That's not what was going on. You know, but you know, there was some illegal activity, so he'll probably get some time or a fine. But other than the shootings, that was all self-defense. Now, after Joseph Rosenbaum was shot, let me see. Oh, whatever, I can't see the comment. But after Joseph Rosenbaum was shot, which was the first guy that got shot, then people started chasing him. He was by himself at this point, and people started chasing Kyle. They knocked him down. One guy hit him with a skateboard. I think that was the guy that he killed. The second guy that he killed. And then there was another guy with a handgun. Kyle shot him in the arm, blew his damn bicep, and that was it. But he went to the cops. He surrendered. He walked to the cops with his hands up and surrendered to the cops. The cops had no clue, you know, that he was the one that shot. The cops weren't there to see everything that happened. There were multiple gunshots going off everywhere. There were multiple people with guns walking around. So the fact that he had a gun wasn't, you know, any reason for the cops to just stop him just because he had a gun. It's open carry state. They didn't know how old he was just by looking at him, you know. So there were multiple people in the streets, and you know, at that point, it was craziness going on. Cops were real close, and Kyle Rittenhouse had his hands up going towards the cop, surrendering towards the cops. Jacob Blake was running away from the cops, fighting cops, not surrendering. So it's two completely different stories. You can't compare Kyle Rittenhouse to Jacob Blake when you got one that's defending himself, self-defense, and one guy that had the cops called on him and fighting cops, trying to kidnap his kids. You cannot compare the two situations. For people that want to compare and say, oh, it's because he's black and it's because he's white. It's like, come on, stop with the bullshit. Like, wake the fuck up. You're in a country that is bending over backwards for African Americans. All types of grants right now. Free money. You can go off and get an I'm Black scholarship right now. Get an I'm Black school grant. Just because you're African American. Affirmative action is letting in more African Americans in Ivy League schools before people that score higher. Asians and people that score higher on scores and entry level, you know, exams. Because they need to let a certain amount of people in. They say, okay, we got to lower the bar and you can get in because you're black. So stop bullshitting like, oh, it's because I'm black. There's so many opportunities out here in this country. It's ridiculous. You got left wingers, you got Democrats, giving out money, throwing money at you. You got George Soros. Look this up. George Soros, but I don't really agree with this too much, but he's given out, I'll tell you the reason why. He's given out, man, it's millions of dollars for activists, anti-racist activists, but it's only like black anti-racist activists. So, you can't get it if you're any other ethnicity. I don't think so. But obviously this is, towards Black Lives Matter and any organizations like that. And all I see that this is doing is causing more strife, because now you have to you're going to create something to be an activist about. There's not a lot out here to be an activist about. There's not a lot. I mean, you can find situations, don't get me wrong. There are definitely situations where cops are in the wrong. It was a situation where a kid got shot by a cop when he was just resisting arrest in Chicago. And I mean, not just resisting arrest. That's enough to at least get tased. And the cop pulled out a gun instead of a taser. So that was wrong. But that's not because he was black. That's because she made a mistake. And one of the main problems there was that he was resisting arrest. It always comes down to resisting arrest. Usually, like 95%, 99% of the situations where it's a African American or even a white person that gets shot, it's because the person was resisting arrest or they did something wrong. It's like 95 to 99% of the time. You can find your situations like Philando Castile. That's one situation where the guy, I mean, you can probably say that he wasn't following commands to not grab the gun from the glove compartment. But I don't know if Philando Castile heard that command. But I heard the cops say that, and Philando Castile still went for it, and he got shot immediately, which is wrong. But there was a gun. So he wasn't unarmed. There was a gun there. But still, that's definitely wrong. I mean, all he was doing was reaching for it, and for his ID too. But, same situation like Daniel Shaver, who's a white guy who didn't have a gun, who was at a hotel room in Las Vegas crawling, and all he did was crawl the wrong way, and the cop shot him right away. So that was wrong. Philando Castile, that was wrong. What was the other guy that got shot that was running away from the cop, and the cop just straight up shot him, which is wrong. But also, you got to realize that there's problems, there's causation, there's cause and effect. You resist arrest, there's a higher chance that you're gonna probably end up in a situation that you don't want to be in. So that doesn't automatically mean that you should get shot. But if you didn't resist arrest, you most likely would have been all right. So, like it's always one thing that leads to another, and you gotta look at the chain of events. Everybody just jumps right to we had no reason to shoot him. You might be right, but let's stop resisting arrest. Let's start complying, listening to commands, listening to the authority. Now you got these sovereign citizens out here, which is another problem. These people think that they don't got to listen to cops. They think that they don't need to show cops ID. They think that they could just ask for a supervisor. Like these people don't, learn the law. Live your life right. And don't join gangs and don't do certain things that's going to get you, in trouble. And, you going to be all right out here, man. We're not living in damn Jim Crow era or slavery, like we passed that, man. We moved past that. We're doing okay right now. There's still some issues, of course. This is not, the kingdom of heaven like some of y'all expect this shit to be. It's like we got human error all over the place. There's going to be human error with police activity, with police officers. There's going to be bad police officers too. But I don't answer questions. Yeah, there's the sovereign citizens, or I'm not driving, I'm traveling, they say. Like, sir, you're driving a vehicle, but I'm traveling. But how are you traveling? You're traveling in a vehicle. No, I'm not driving. I'm traveling. Like, you got to watch these sovereign citizens. Some of them be Israelites. Some of them call themselves Moors too, black Moors. I've seen that too. And then like it'd be a lot of African Americans. I mean, there's a lot of white people. There's a lot of white people that be on this sovereign citizen crap. You know, yeah, man. I don't know if I covered everything there, man, with Kyle Rittenhouse and everything, but I don't know if y'all got anything y'all want to say. Any questions? Let me see the live chat. I wasn't following everything, so let me see. But yeah, Kyle has no right having the rifle. Yeah, he was, because he was underage. So I mean, that's not like a felony. Laughing Hawk. The video shows that Laughing Hawk is a moron. The he shouldn't have been there argument is ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, that argument is ridiculous too, because the rioters and looters should not have been there either. You know, there's nothing wrong with crossing state lines. That's not illegal. You know, but you know, if you bring a gun, then yes, okay. You know, and it's usually coming from, you know, these leftists and, you know, the Democrats who are like against the borders. Like they want no borders, right? They just want people to come in to you know, from Mexico or whatever. So you could cross the border if you're an immigrant, but you can't cross state lines. Like, it'd be the same people trying to make that argument. You can't cross state lines. Like, why is that how is that a crime? His mom drove him there. They're saying, like, I mean, listen, but I would never drive my 17-year-old kid, you know, to do something like that. You know, but that's just me. That's just me. You know, if he was 18, then nobody would have shit to say. If he was 18, he was a few months too early. Other than that, he was in the right to defend himself. People were trying to attack him, lunging at him. That dude, Joseph Rosenbaum, was ridiculous. Like, he was ridiculous. That was a child molester. I'm not upset about that cat dying at all. I have no sympathy for child molesters. No sympathy. And I think Milwaukee, or I think Wisconsin, the age of consent is like 16 or 17. So whatever child he molested was way under that. Like, man, F that dude, bro. F that dude. For y'all trying to be all mad and shit, like trying to defend these people that were looting, rioting, business owners, like, and then you got the BLM talking about, so what? That's nothing compared to the money they owe us for slavery. And it's like, that makes no sense, man. You're gonna burn down and loot, you know, businesses because you mad about slavery? You were never a slave. For people that want to bring up all this slavery talk, where's that one dude, the car or whatever the hell? Where you at, bro? Because you were talking about slavery on my chat not too long ago in the comment section. You were talking about slavery, like you bringing up slavery, like you mad about that. You know you don't hate slavery. You love slavery, bro. You want to enslave white people. You know, the black Hebrew Israelites. You know, you got also organizations like I mentioned earlier, the not fucking around coalition, who are right, you know, open carry. You know, they preach you know, owning gun ownership, which is fine. You know, I don't have a problem with that at all. You know, but some of these people are gun crazy out here in this country, right? A little bit too gun crazy. But whatever, man. You have the right to protect yourself. You know, it's a crazy country. You got a lot of crime going on, and a lot of violent crime and gun violence going on. So I mean, I'm not against that at all. But you know, you got these people that are, you know, complaining about black people. We can't even go out here, and we couldn't do that if we were Kyle Rittenhouse. We couldn't be black walking around with an AR. I've seen videos of black people walking around with ARs. They do it all the time. They have demonstrations. The NF, the Not Effing Around Coalition. and they shot their own people before. You can find videos of when they had a demonstration and one of their own people shot their own, and nobody shot at them. There was no attack or no retaliation from the cops or whatever. They shot themselves. So you should preach some gun ownership, legal gun ownership out here. Be 18 years old, get everything done right. Cause like you got people like T.I., you got rich people out here that be getting caught with illegal guns. Damn, 21 Savage. Like you got so much money. You mean to tell me you can't go about it the right way? Get a legal gun? Why are you getting caught with all illegal guns? It makes no sense. But people trying to do dirty stuff out here and sell them or whatever the hell, probably. It's like, what you doing, man? Get legal guns. Like, you damn rich people with money out here. I don't know what's going on in this country, man. With certain issues that people get caught up with. It's like, you put yourself in the own situation. Like, just like with Jacob Blake. He put himself in that situation. I have no remorse for that guy. He is the problem in Black America. You got people in the ICGJC trying to defend and damn make posts sympathizing with Jacob Blake, a fucking criminal. Excuse my language. Man, and it's not just it's not just the ICGJC. It's all these other organizations. Like, you sympathizing with criminals. You calling evil good, and then the good people that's trying to protect you, that's putting their neck on the line in your community, having to deal with all the gang craziness, they're the evil people. Like, come on, man. Stop with the bullshit, man. And I'm not saying that all cops are heroes, but definitely not saying that all cops are bastards. Like, that's a popular hashtag out here. Look at that hashtag, all cops are bastards. Millions of posts. This is going on in this country. And this was all being promoted and pushed from the news media, mostly organizations like BLM, and then you got the universities out here. They're not even doing any better. Like I was talking about this Marxist socialism thing. This is heavy. I was caught up in all of that. I grew up in all of that. I benefited off social programs. I'm not against social programs, so I'm not completely against socialism, but this socialism push seems to be entangled with victimizing African Americans. They victimize Muslims like crazy. That's another protected class of Muslims. Forget it. Then the feminism movement is another thing. It's all wrapped up. And then they're throwing the LGBTQ all up in there. It's like, I don't even know what they're trying to do anymore. They're just trying to push all these agendas. And there's heavy funds, heavy money coming into these organizations. Activism is called. Look it up. George Soros has like $500 million ready to give to activist groups in this country. What the hell does he want with this country and trying to get himself involved with his activist groups? He's not even from here. He's like from Greece. And he's involved with funding a lot of these groups that are causing more strife and more rift in this country. You're looking for something to be mad about. You need to join, like, there's some organization, like I was talking about these guns rights organizations. Those are not bad organizations. That's good. They're fighting for something that's right, something that's legal, and that's part of being in this country, man. Legal, Second Amendment rights. I'm all for it. Do shit legal out here, man. Stop thinking that you can resist arrest and that somehow you're gonna get away with it. What do you think is gonna happen? What did Jacob Blake think was gonna happen? He was gonna lead the cops on a high-speed chase with his kids in the back of the car? That's what some of y'all want? For the people that was damn sending me all types of damn messages on Facebook, then Justice League, man, y'all still caught up in that Black Hebrew Israelite garbage, man. Y'all following along. All this socialist shit that was pushed through Harlem, right where the ICGJC started at. You had all that socialist movement, the Black Panthers, like all this stuff comes right out of there, and they all socialist groups. They all have that same agenda. It's like that critical race theory where they split people up to two sides. You have the oppressed and the people that are the oppressors. That's the only two groups they try to make it seem. You only fit in one group or the other in this country. No, that's a false dichotomy. Just like black Hebrew Israelites, you either the slaved or you the enslaved, or you a slave owner or you a slave. That's not what's going on in this country. I'm not a slave. See, they have to make it seem like they're being oppressed because that ties in with their doctrine. If they're not being oppressed, then what do you have to be angry about? This is not oppression. You're not in a damn kingdom where you're a slave. So guess what? Now your whole narrative falls apart. So you have to look for these stories constantly. Oh, Jacob Blake. Oh, this and that. Like I was saying, man, the damn Injustice League. These cats haven't even done videos. Where y'all at? Talk about Jacob Blake. Y'all was supporting Jacob Blake, a damn criminal, just like St. Basil with that damn ICGJC. Just like I heard Sakari is supporting all these damn criminals that's resisting arrest, fighting cops. Fuck Jacob Blake, bro. Like, Jesus Christ. You open your eyes. Like, all these organizations that came out of Harlem, they tied into some damn socialist movement. That's why you see that black fist, that where do you think that came from, that fist? That's a fist of socialism. You could see that back with the damn Russians and shit, the Soviet Union. They were using the same fist. China, another communist, socialism, communist, same shit. Angela Davis was a self-proclaimed socialist who was pushing the feminist movement. She took over the feminism movement because that was like white women was pushing that, and then Angela Davis took over that shit because she was like, I'm gonna do you one better. Not only am I a woman, I'm a black woman. Angela Davis, she's still talking to this day, a socialist. That all came out of Harlem. All these groups, look up all these groups that call themselves socialist. The People's Army group, if y'all ever listen to Dead Prez, they always talk about them. The People's Army, RBG, Red, Black, and Green, another socialist group. Why is it that just because of your skin color, now you have to be tied into one political group? Supposed to have political association with this type of group. Like, you can look at somebody by their race in this country and guess what political movement they might be a part of. It shouldn't be like that. It makes no sense. Because African Americans tend to be more religious. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. You don't see a lot of atheist African Americans out there. They seem to be more religious, anti-gay, right? Before Obama, it was like 70 to 80% of the people that they surveyed in African American communities were against gays and lesbians. And that sounds like a conservative Republican, but yet they mostly vote Democratic. Like craziness. Like, I don't understand that part. Just like where you see some of these Muslims that try to be these feminists, and it's like, how are you a Muslim and you're a feminist? Like, what's the one from Minnesota? Ilhan Omar, right? She's down with that squad, whatever. This is all leftist, democratic, whatever. It's like, hold on, you're a Muslim and you're a liberal, so that means you're a Muslim, but you're for abortion. You're a Muslim, you're for LGBTQ. Muslims are against LGBTQ. Muslims are against abortion. Muslims are against women's rights. Like, completely. Like, I mean, not all Muslims, let me not say that, but a good majority of them. Like, it's not even like, oh, it's just a 5%. It's like 30%, 40%. They hate gays. Like even more than that, man. Forget it. If you want to go in the Quran, it's like explicit stuff. You can find it in the Bible too. And that's why you have that with conservatives and Republicans. And I tend to lean more like conservative, libertarian. Where's my boy Jimmy Jordan? Yeah, that libertarian movement, I'm starting to see, a lot of things that I agree with the libertarian movement. But you know, I don't know why there's such a divide where it's like, you know, you're African American, you're political, people automatically assume that you're a Democrat. Like, it shouldn't be like that. There should be more of a diversity, but it's because it's like an echo chamber. It's this tribalism, and it's like, I don't know, man. It's like it needs to be more of you know, diversity of voices in the community. It's like you just hear the same rhetoric over and over. You know, people supporting Jacob Blake. It's like, man, I mean, I come across a lot of African Americans that be like, yo, Jacob Blake was an idiot, you know, because I'm in, you know, I go in certain on certain videos or follow certain people that, you know, that tend to agree with what I agree with. And I completely agree with that notion, man. Like, you know, I don't know what the hell's going on with the Democratic Party and these liberals today, man. I used to be really, really with that, you know, like, you know, Bernie Sanders and all of that. I was with that all up until the point where I started seeing them going crazy and them, they turned George Floyd into a saint. Like, I'm completely against what happened to George Floyd. You know, well, I mean, I'm definitely against the murder of George Floyd by what was his name, David Chauvin. But let's not forget what we were talking about earlier. There's reactions for every action. There's a reaction. That was the bad reaction by David Chauvin, whatever his name was. But look at everything that led up to that situation. Everything that led up to that was resisting arrest again, not wanting to get in the vehicle. He was spazzing out because he was on mad drugs, fentanyl, and all of that. And you can look up the reports that his health, because of all the drugs that he did for so many years, played a part in him in his death too. But they they had to rule that one. You know, they were gonna riot. Like, that one was completely, that trial was like, that shit was set from the beginning. And if they didn't get a murder charge, they were gonna riot again. But you know, that was a murder charge, whatever. There's nothing really that you can say to defend that Chauvin guy on that one. But some of the things that George Floyd did, is like, bro, first of all, you on crazy amounts of drug, fentanyl, coke. You could see the coke as he's being handcuffed. I showed somebody a video of that, because he was trying to say, no, he was a good guy, man, he was changing his life. And I showed him a video. I'm like, bro, he was high that day. He had drugs on him. When he was put on the concrete on the wall, you could see him drop a baggie with white stuff in there. I don't think they even ever peeped that, because you never see anybody that showed the video of that point that out. I caught that myself one time, and I was like, wait, hold on, he had a little baggie. All while all of that was going on, he probably had to swallow a bunch of the drugs with him and his damn cohort. Who's the guy that didn't want to speak out because he said, oh, I might incriminate myself if I speak? His damn friend who had all the drugs. Forgot his name, the guy with the red hat. They were probably swallowing a bunch of drugs when the cops pulled up in that car, because that dude was spazzing out. He would not get in the damn George Floyd would not get in the back of that vehicle. And he said, put me on the ground. He said, put me on the ground. And Chauvin did too much, man. That was definitely, I mean, that guy was an asshole, man. He didn't have to put that knee on him for that long. You know, but George Floyd he had that exhilarated heart rate. He was going crazy. Something was up with him for sure. But yeah, I mean, look at everything that led up to what happened. Not only did he have an opportunity when the cashier went up to him in the car and told him, like, this money's fake, he had the opportunity there to say, okay, my bad. Boom, it would have been over. Nothing would have happened. He said, no, I don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. They went back the second time, and he still was like, no, blah, 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 I don't know, whatever. They called the cops, and that's when everything started. But yeah, I mean, even then he had the opportunity to just go in the car, shut your mouth, relax, and just go about your day. Get arrested, deal with it in court. Take it like a damn man. I don't know what the hell was wrong with him, but you know that's not a situation that I'm gonna defend Chauvin for sure. I mean, that one was obvious. But like I said, Tony Timper, he died the same way. Nobody was out there rioting and going crazy. This only happens in the African American community, and political movements use that to for their advantage. For, you know, you get more clicks. It's like clickbait. You know, they put it in the title, black man, unarmed black man. They put the race in the title of the report. So they don't even report it when it's a white person, let alone put the race in the title of the headline. Like, it's crazy. This country is just on some other shit. You know, systemic racism. It's like, you have leftover shit. Like I spoke about redlining before. That's leftover shit. What are you gonna do now? You can't change that now. That shit already happened. New York City and it didn't happen in every city. But people want to say, well, redlining affected all African. It didn't affect all African Americans, and it affected a lot of white people too. Redlining didn't just affect black people. So you know, that's just leftover systemic racism, if you want to call it. But there's no active system right now that's racist against black people. Where? Black people are all up in the system. You got them as mayors, police chiefs. You had them as a president, council people, and not to mention all the Democrats that you got and all the news media that you got trying to support. Breonna Taylor, another story. Breonna Taylor it's just what happened with the Breonna Taylor raid. You can find the white equivalent to that in the what's called the Pekin Park raid. It's the same. It's actually worse what happened to the white people, because the cop forged a warrant in that one. It was a black cop, by the way. You know, that story went nowhere. Nobody spoke about that. You know, it had to come out later. You know, and it took years for them to get a sentence against that guy. The Breonna Taylor case was like, they were trying to get that cat arrested like in 3 months. Like, they were gonna go crazy. Oprah Winfrey was putting damn posters all over billboards. Breonna Taylor, everybody, yo, my aunt in Austria knows Breonna Taylor. What? Why? Like, why do you don't care about Breonna? Stop fronting like you care about Breonna Taylor. Stop fronting. You don't care about Breonna Taylor. You don't know who the hell she is. But because she's black and a woman, psh, whoa, forget it. 2 protected classes. They went crazy for her. Like, her man shot somebody up. They had a legal warrant. They announced themselves, which the neighbor next door has said it. You know, in the New York Times documentary they did. they put that in the documentary for 5 seconds. They changed that real quick. The neighbor was like, yeah, I did hear them announce themselves. They went right to the next scene. I'm like, what the fuck? They were saying the cops didn't announce themselves. They were saying the warrant was not good. They said that they had already had Jamarcus Glover in custody, which was Breonna Taylor's ex-boyfriend, who was a damn criminal. And Breonna Taylor was helping him be a criminal with the bank accounts and renting out the car. There was a car with a dead body found. There was a car rented with Breonna Taylor's name, and there was a dead body found with it in it. Like, they were investigating her. What do you want? Like, you can't investigate nobody out here. If you black and you a woman, yo, you can't investigate her. You gotta let her go. That's what you want. That's what y'all want. I think some of y'all want the crime to continue in the African American community. That's what I think some of y'all want. Like, and take no responsibility. That's another thing. Like, if we start shining a light on this shit for what it is, maybe it will change. But because y'all are lying, y'all want to keep lying, making it seem like the problem is the cops and somebody else, the problem is going to continue. And y'all still going to have people shooting up kids and damn McDonald's drive-thru and shit because of some rat beef, like what happened in Chicago. And nobody comes and protests. And there's a no snitching rule with the damn all up in the hood. So black people, they don't be catching when it's a black. Sometimes when it's a black victim, and the suspect is also black, you didn't be catching the damn suspect. Why? Because there's a no snitching rule. You can't go to the cops. The cops are the enemies. Are the cops the enemies? Or are the people that shooting up kids the enemies? You got people that you got gang wars going on where they kill the person, then they go to the funeral and shoot up the family. And you don't have people protesting for that, but let a white guy call another black guy a bunch of racist names, no fight, you know, no killing, no stabbing, just somebody saying something to a black person, like what happened in Jersey, and you have the whole community come out there egging the white guy. You know, the guy, even if he's saying something stupid, he has the right to say that. He's not doing anything illegal. He's being a fucking racist idiot, and I think he was calling the black guy a monkey or something like that. Yo, the attention that got put on that, if y'all could put that attention on the people that's out here killing kids, like Baby Sincere, and man, I can't even think of these names because y'all don't make a big deal out of it. So I'm trying to make a big deal out of it. If y'all follow me on Instagram, I try to post these victims, these children that get molested by damn ICGJC members. You got ICGJC members out here molesting kids. Nobody's going crazy over that. But you talking about Jacob Blake and blah, blah, blah with St. Basil's bitch ass. Jacob Blake. I can't believe he put that in a song where Saint Hood got killed by your peoples, man. That was a damn crime. That's a black crime right there. A mistaken identity. You got shot up in the hood. Saint Hood got killed by your peoples. Why didn't you put Saint Hood up in the song? Another one? Yeah, another one up in the hood. Saint Hood, it was an ICGJC member, a rapper, who was shot, mistaken identity. He was damn paralyzed. He lived for like 6 days. Tazadakia said, don't worry, you're going to survive. You're going to live. The dude died like 2 days later. And nobody wants to talk about that. And you got sisters. You got a holy sister. You got Tazadakia that died. You got people, all the people that died in ICGJC, the holy sister, you know, Tazadakia, all the deaths that happened like in the last 3 or 4 years, it's either some damn issue in the hood or some health issues or some shit. You got to promote that. But you're out here talking about cops and you want to follow this damn BLM wave to try to get some damn clicks and try to be a popular rapper. That's what St. Basil was trying to do. Talking about Colin Kaepernick's dumbass. Colin Kaepernick is an idiot, man. Trying to make a big deal out of nothing, bro. Like, you got dropped from the team and now you became an activist because you had nothing else to do. Your career fell apart. And then he became an activist. This is a guy who was adopted by white people. He was given a great life by white people. He got in the NFL, made millions. You're making millions. He was comparing the NFL to slavery recently. Colin Kaepernick. Like, what? That's such a disgrace. That's a disrespect. Blatant damn disrespect to slaves who worked for free, who got nothing. You're going to compare that to NFL players that are making millions? Like, what? What is happening out here? That's what Colin Kaepernick did. That's the people y'all want to promote like they got something good to say. These people are idiots, man. They want to promote this oppression. We're being oppressed. No, you're not. Let's talk about the crime in the black community. I don't want to talk about that, right? Oh, man, I would love to get some of y'all on here. Man, I mean, listen. Jason Creed, black atheist. Let me see. No, you can find a lot of times where police, black atheists, where police do arrest their own. I was looking at a video the other day, but no, you're right. There is that blue wall, what they call that, you know, whatever. But I've seen many videos where cops were arrested on the spot. Where they were doing something they wasn't supposed to do. They got arrested on the spot. Cops that are drunk, cops that were caught on to catch a predator. You know, like, you think that they're gonna let those criminals go? They actually give cops a bad name. That happens when it's like a partner, right? This happens when it's like a partner, and maybe the partner sees the partner do something else wrong, and then, you know, they won't snitch on them. So you're right. I'm not gonna make pretend like that shit don't happen, but cops are a necessary component in this society. Gangs are not. So I would call false equivalence on that. And it's a no snitching rule when it comes to murdering. You know, you shooting up, you know, funerals. And come on, man. That shit happens in the black community, man. That shit don't be happening in the white community. I mean, you got Italians that be doing all types of crazy shit, but I don't know if you could. I guess you could consider Italians white, right? They call them spicy white. You know, you talking about the mafia and shit. They allowed a lot of that crap too, man. I mean, that shit's no good either. But it doesn't happen it's not rampant like it is with in the African American community. I mean, it's like what's called a culture thing. You know, it's a cultural thing that's going on, man. You know, it has nothing to do with genetics. It's not genetics, and it's not systemic racism. That's the false equivalence that I see the Young Turks. Anna Kasparian was debating Ben Shapiro on this issue. You know, Ben Shapiro is like a damn machine, and he's a lawyer, and he has a lot of good points that some of y'all need to hear. I know y'all don't want to hear some of this shit, but he's got some great points, man. He debated Anna Kasparian on this recently, and you can watch this guy's channel called Actual Justice Warrior. This guy's great. Actual Justice Warrior. I've been watching him a lot recently. He was covering that debate, and he was like showing how Anna Kasparian was trying to frame the disparity of African Americans in the prison system as, is it because it's systemic racism, or is it because black people are just more prone to commit crime? It's neither. It's not a genetic. She was trying to make it seem like it's a genetically black people are just, you know, just commit more crime because of genetic. That's not a proper question. You got to look at the social economics issues, like the culture, poverty, all of that plays a part. All of that stuff plays a part. Let me look at the chat real quick. Live chat. QAnon. Somebody say QAnon. I don't know. Oh, Kyle, you make no sense. I already spoke about Kyle. You know, we already finished that. Kyle is who's this? To Josh Rosenberg. Sounds like Joseph Rosenbaum, but yeah, I don't know if you're talking about me, but yeah, the Stop Snitching campaign gained national attention in Baltimore back in 2004 with Stop Snitching DVDs. Yeah, Baltimore is horrible, man. Yo, they're failing. I mean, that's another thing, man. The educational system. You know, like, that shit needs to be promoted, man. Read books, man. Go to the library. Study some history. Study some economics. Sociology. You know, try to get out of poverty. You know, raise your kids. All of that shit, man. Another issue is that African American fathers don't be in the household. And they try to say, oh, it's because the cops lock them up disproportionately. Yeah, but it's because they commit crime disproportionately. That's why. It's not because they're just black and they're, you know. No, it's because they commit crime. Why do they commit crime? Cultural issues, socioeconomic issues, all of that, poverty. It all plays a part. People that are poor commit more crime. It's not a race thing. It just so happens that there's more, the majority of African Americans are, I guess, poor. I don't know if I'm wording that right, but you know, there's more African Americans that are poor disproportionately than I guess white Americans. If you do it by ratio, because there's so many white people in this country that you just can't put a number out there like that. Because if you want to look at it by the number, there's probably more white people there probably is more white people that are poor. I think there is more white people that are poor, more white people are you know, food stamps, they say. It's because it's more white people, period. So you're gonna have more white people that do everything in this country. But when you have 13% black people, they shouldn't have the same amount of murders that 60% white people have. That doesn't add up. How do you have 3,000 murders for 13% of people and for 60% of people? How do white people and black people commit the same amount of murders when there's 5 times more white people? That means that black people are committing murders at 5 times the rate. That's craziness. That's not good, man. There's no culture. There's no real big culture like that in any other communities. Like I see it in the African American community. There's gang culture. There's, you know, drug culture. You know, this damn twerking and shit. Like I was watching this video, and it's people in a restaurant. They start playing. You know, this is a regular restaurant, like a damn Bahama Breeze or something, or a Chili's. And then I think it probably wasn't that, but they start playing some damn twerking music. And then you got all these black women that they get on the table and start twerking at a restaurant with children around and stuff. And they were probably drunk and stuff. And you had all types of people videotaping them. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? They were twerking on ambulances. Like you got an ambulance trying to get people that got shot up at some I think it was the Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend was crazy, by the way, with the gun violence in the black community. Insane. And I'm not, listen, Hispanics be on some crazy shit too, man. I'm not forgetting about my own people. There's a lot of gang and all that shit with the Hispanics and the orale ese and all that shit. I know that shit happens too. But it's not at the rate of African-American communities. Check the numbers. Check the FBI statistics. Because, you know, the FBI statistics get their numbers from police precincts all throughout the United States. All those numbers get together. Whenever there's a victim report. Race gets put in there. The sex gets put in there. All of that. So that you have a female, you have the gender, and you have the race of the person. Because another thing they're trying to push is there's no such thing as black on black crime. It's like, what are you talking about? Yes, there is. Then if there's no such thing as black on black crime, then there's no such thing as police disproportionately doing anything against just black people, because they do it against everybody. I had my cousin tell me that. I'm like, bro, stop listening to these the Young Turks, you know, and all this crazy ass, dumb ass people that live in an echo chamber where all they try to point out is, oh, look at Karen, some white person doing something mildly racist, like some mild shit, not even something that's a misdemeanor. It's just like somebody saying some shit racist. It's like, oh my God, look at this Karen. But yet you got all this craziness going on in the hood, and nobody's calling them a Monique, or look at this Tyrone. That name, which is a byword, that name is not going around. This byword of a Karen, that's a racial thing. This is supposed to be a white woman that complains, right? Where's that name for like like a black person or something? You don't see that. Look at this Monique, or look at this Tyrone. What if that starts happening? If that shit starts happening, they're gonna start yelling, oh, racism, blah blah blah. But Karen is not racist. You see the hypocrisy? You see the hypocrisy, right? It's crazy. It's crazy out here. But I'm pretty much done. Rant is over. It's supposed to be just about Jacob Blake and Kyle Rittenhouse, but of course it led to all this other shit. It's all good, man. I'm gonna be late over here. I'm already late, but I gotta be out, y'all. Right? Thanks for joining. Peace out.